Chinese Harleys coming to the shores of North America. Is that a win or a fail? Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Good moto morning, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Kraken's Garage. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Harley-Davidson X350 and the X500 that are coming to North America. They will not be available for retail in 2023, and I will share my thoughts at the end of the video on Harley-Davidson's marketing scheme and whether this is going to be a win or a fail. On February 2nd, Harley-Davidson has officially confirmed the X350RA will exclusively be Riding Academy models only, and the X350 will not be sold in North America. The X350 is a product of Harley-Davidson's partnership with China's Quanjiang Motors that was first announced in 2019. After some regulatory delays, the QJ-built X350 is finally close to production as a small displacement model for the Asian markets. The X350 and the X350RA variant appeared in vehicle information number data submitted by Quanjiang to the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and as we recently reported, the Harley-Davidson included the X350RA in its 2023 model year VIN information. On January 18th, motorcycle.com had secured a copy of the X350, single image of the model with clear proof it is intended for use for Harley-Davidson's Riding Academy. They've also briefly got a look at the official parts catalog, confirming some of the differences between the X350 and the X350RA. So how motorcycle.com got these images and information is it briefly showed up on Harley-Davidson's service information portal, and they quickly downloaded it to write up an article on it. A link will be listed down below. Meanwhile, the NHTSA's documents reveal that the manufacturer code in the VIN is LBB, which is a code assigned to Quanjiang, while the other U.S. market Harleys there will be built with its own 1HD manufacturer codes. So if you ever want to find out where your vehicle, car, motorcycle, scooter, whatever is made, just look at the first three digits of the vehicle identification number. One states it's made in America, and HD stands for Harley-Davidson. So all vehicles that are made in America always start with the numeric value of 1. The LBB states that it's made by Quanjiang in China. Now here are my thoughts on this, and will it be a win or fail? I think Harley-Davidson is sticking their toes in the water with this bike and this collab with Quanjiang Motors, Benelli, rebranded Benellis. Both of these bikes are already produced. They have very little overhead in R&D on these bikes. All they did was create a new plastic skin to go over the tank, change out a few trim pieces on it for color variation, and put a rear seat and rear tail section on it that met Harley-Davidson's specs, and put the old bar and shield logo on it, and off they go. Now here's where it gets interesting. The 350 is a direct copy of the Benelli 302S. And here I just looked on Cycle Trader. You can buy a leftover one for, I don't know, $3,700. You can see the list price of a brand new one is just a tad over $5,000. Here's the problem. They will not be selling those bikes for the same price range. I guarantee Harley-Davidson will mark that bike up, because they have their bar and shield logo on it, to somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $7,000, $69.95. This is the disconnect with their marketing team and why these Indian-made Street 500 and Street 750 was a massive fail. They lost billions of dollars on that venture. And there's nothing wrong with those bikes. They're good bikes. It all comes down to, if you're going to compete in that arena, why would any sane human being go buy your Harley-Davidson in the $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range when the same bike can be had for $3,700? It gets better than that, though. The real problem why these ventures or collabs fail with Harley-Davidson is the dealer network. Harley has never been able to put a leash on their dealers, on their pillaging. They're not all of them, but most of them are a bunch of pirates. Just log on to any website. They don't even list their prices on the bike. Why? Because when you walk in the door, they'll mark them up accordingly to see what they can get away with. So let's say you advertise that bike and they do bring it to the shores for 2024 as a retail model. A natural transition for the Riding Academy riders that are going to be using these bikes to learn to ride on. I'm quite sure they'll survey them, and if you get into motorcycling, would you consider buying this bike as your first bike? And they'll take polls and decide whether or not they're going to retail them. Now, if they do, and they mark them up to $6,000 to $7,000, anybody with a little Google foo and 1 minute on the internet can find the same bike made by Benelli for $3,700. And I guarantee you, if you walk into that dealership, you'll pay, I don't know, $100 processing fee and a small freight and prep, because they never include those in on the pricing. So probably add $400 or $500 to that price. So you'll be out the door for like $4,200. This excludes your taxes and tags for your home state or where you live. Harley-Davidson customers to go buy any of the large V twin bikes, believe me, their freight processing and processing fee, prep, etc. is thousands. It can range anywhere from $1,000 to, I've seen it as high as $7,000 above the list price. So again, why would anybody go through all that for a Chinese-made Harley? The minute you drive it off the lot, it's going to be worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 to a Harley dealership if you wanted to trade it in, because it's just, it's a $3,700 bike, and it's just not going to hold its value like the big V twins are. Now, if you're into this bike for $6,000, $7,000, plus you pay all the Harley fees that Harley customers are accustomed to paying for, that bike's going to be up north of $8,000. You will be $5,000 minimum upside down the minute you drive off the lot. There's why these bikes fail on a Harley showroom. They always will if they don't change up their mindset. Your direct competitors for an entry-level bike of 350 cc's or 500 cc's are something like the Honda Rebel 500, the Honda Rebel 250. Bikes of this nature that get people up and rolling and trying out a bike as they venture into the motorcycling world. So I have said this all along, if you want to fix this problem, you have to A, fix your dealerships. Put limits on what they can charge for all of this gaff over and above the price of the bike. They're going to squash the entry-level bike market with the way they're marketing their bikes. Who's to blame for all these fees? I'll tell you who's to blame. You are. That's right, you the customer. If you keep walking in the door and paying that kind of money over list price on a motorcycle, why wouldn't the Harley dealerships keep charging these outrageous fees? They need to send representatives around to all their dealerships and have a pep talk with them and tell them to take these bikes seriously. And if you are degrading them with bad vibes when you talk to customers, or Chinese poor quality, how many quarts of soya sauce do you have to fill that thing up? I can already hear the jokes going already, and this will be going on in every Harley dealership in America. It will be destined to fail. The only way you fix that is by talking to the staff and saying, you will promote this bike, you will move these and help the motor company where they're trying to go with this on entry-level buyers. If I hear you speaking poorly about any of these bikes, you cannot be employed here. You have got to go, period. And draw a hard line with the sales teams of the Harley-Davidson dealerships. Take my last two Harleys that I bought. The Roadster I bought in Pennsylvania. Why? Because all my local dealers are charging outrageous fees. I had to go find a dealer that was reasonable on what they were asking for their bike. Even on the Roadster, which was frowned upon so much by Harley customers, I got that at a tremendous discount. It listed for $11,995. All fees out the door, I paid $9,700 for it. Now you take the Icon Revival, I paid list price, $29,199, and there was a $500 processing fee, and that's it. There was a debacle on buying that I shot videos on, but that's what I paid for that bike, when most of the others were sold $5,000 to $10,000 above list price because of the rarity of the bike. Are these Kwai-Jang bikes going to be any good? The bottom line and the simple answer is yes. I owned one of them. The Benelli TNT 135 that I had a roaring success on my channel doing some maintenance to teach young people how to first wrench on their bikes. Bike was 100% solid for 2 years. There was a $33 processing fee on that, and I paid $2,700 out the door for it. Rode it for 2 years, and I sold it for $2,000 to a friend. So there you go. That's a fine example. Another example that comes to mind is take the Royal Enfield. Now, when you talk to the sales reps or get involved with that company, they proudly say made in India. Let me ask you this question. How many Harley-Davidson's dealerships will be touting its horn about how the 350X and the 500X is proudly made in China? It's a really good question. I think it'll be a massive fail for Harley-Davidson if they put these vehicles on their showroom and until you correct the cancer, and the cancer is in your showrooms. Those are my thoughts from my crystal ball of Harley-Davidson and their business model. And there's my ghost dog, Daisy May. She's here to remind me to wrap this video up. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more of the future, hit the subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding. It's good for you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. There she is. Looking good.